Welcome, everyone, to the Thursday edition of Fair Territory. I'm Ken Rosenthal here with Alanna Rizzo. We have some news this morning. Andrew McCutchen signing a minor league deal with the Texas Rangers. That from Evan Grant of the Dallas Morning News. We have two games from the WBC in the books. Korea beat Czechia and Australia in a bit of an upset over Chinese Taipei last night or this morning. However you want to look at it. WBC for the rest of the tournament, rest of the groups, starts tomorrow. You'll have Team USA in action against Brazil. That'll be on Fox. I'll be there for that one and all the way through the WBC. So, Alanna, it'll be a WBC heavy show today.
And I love it because I love the World Baseball Classic. And Ken, all of our World Baseball Classic coverage is brought to you by our friends at Fox One. It's live. Stream all of your Fox favorites together in one place, including all World Baseball Classic games over the next few weeks. And after that, the best Major League Baseball action all season long. So, Ken, let's start our WBC coverage on this fair territory with one reason from you why each of the top four seeds can win the World Baseball Classic. Let us start with Team Venezuela.
All right, Venezuela, obviously they're depleted a little bit because Altuve's not playing due to the insurance issue, and Pablo Lopez, of course, having Tommy John surgery that really hurts their pitching staff. But if you ask me, the reason to like this team in this tournament is the dynamic combination of Ronald Acuna Jr. and Jackson Chourio. These are two of the most electric players in the game, not to take anything away from anyone else on the Venezuela roster, including, of course, Salvador Perez, but if you're going to see them maybe break a run in this tournament, it's got to be with Acuna and Chourio doing some big things.
Okay, we talked about Venezuela, but what about the Dominican Republic? Ken, I don't think people are giving the DR perhaps as much credit or credence as they should be.
A lot of 1,000%. And their lineup is every bit as dangerous, if not more dangerous, than Team USA's. And who am I talking about? I'm talking about Vlad Jr. and Tatis and Manny Machado and Julio Rodriguez and Ketel Marte and Geraldo Perdomo, on and on and on. And you might say, okay, but they can't pitch with the U.S. I'm not so sure about that either. It's Christopher Sanchez at the top of the rotation. It's Brian Bayo from the Red Sox, Luis Severino. And overall, this is a team that really can do some things in this tournament because of what they have offensively. So I do like them, and I would think, along with Team USA, they are one of the favorites right now.
I would certainly think so. All right, Team Japan, obviously the champions, Ken, the last time the WBC was played 3 years ago. What about this team do you like as far as a reason that they might be champions again?
This is the team that has won three of the five tournaments, and a team that you might not recognize all of the names because not all of these players are in Major League Baseball. A number of them are in NPB, but they still have a formidable group. And what I like about them the most is what you see there, the team unity and the style of play. These guys go about it the right way. They play a fundamentally sound game. We know this from watching them over the years. They're a joy to watch, actually, from a baseball standpoint. So their rotation without Otani is not going to be necessarily as strong. They still have Yamamoto. They still have Shigano from the Colorado Rockies. And they still have Kikuchi, as well as the reigning Japanese Sawamura Award winner. He's a pitcher named Hiromi Ito. So they're going to be, as always, right in the mix. Do they have enough firepower with Murakami and Okamoto and all of these guys to beat the U.S. and beat the Dominican? I don't know. Seiya Suzuki also with this team, Masataka Yoshida, all of these guys. But at the same time, we know that they're going to be there. No question about it.
Ken, let me ask you this about Team Japan in particular. When you look at the DR lineup that has, of course, the names that you mentioned, Juan Soto, all of the things, and then you have Venezuela as well, and then you look at Team USA, which we're going to get to. I think power hitters. I think guys that are like hitting the ball over the fence. When I think of Japan, I don't necessarily think of sluggers, but they do have a unique style of play. Perhaps is that an advantage for Team Japan?
It has been in the past. And you're right, Alana. It's interesting because home runs win. We know that. They have that element. Seiya Suzuki and Murakami, of course, are great sluggers, but they do put the ball in play, generally speaking, and they do things to make teams uncomfortable. So, yes, that does give them an advantage. But in this tournament, it's such a short, compressed time frame. And then, of course, the knockout round is one and done. It's going to be really interesting to see how this goes about with them and the Dominican and the US, just kind of how they play against each other. Yes.
Team USA, Ken, you look up and down the lineup 1 through 9, you begin to salivate. I don't know that there has ever been a more potent lineup assembled under one team than Team USA. Why will they win if they do?
Well, we've seen the last 2 days, the exhibition games that they've played in Arizona. San Francisco Giants, Colorado Rockies, they outscored those teams 29-5. Now, granted, it's a spring training type environment. Those teams, the Giants and Rockies, had lost some of their players for the WBC, but we saw that potent U.S. lineup on display, and that is the main reason it can win. But as I say here, it's the best roster they've brought to the WBC. I know they won in 17. I know they had a strong roster in 2006, but this roster, top to bottom, including the pitching staff, especially the pitching staff, is its strongest. We have not seen both Cy Young winners on a Team USA entry in the WBC. We'll see it in this tournament. Skeens and Skubal. We'll see Logan Webb, a top 5 Cy Young finisher. He's pitching the opening game against Brazil. So they are a really balanced, interesting group, to be sure. They seem to be, at least so far, on something of a mission. They have this togetherness that maybe Mark DeRosa has said they didn't quite have to this extent the last time. So I'm really interested to see how they fare here. They are, of course, like every other team in this tournament, hell-bent on winning. Now they've got to go show it.
Yeah, Mark DeRosa, the skipper, said he really wanted to focus more on assembling a team unit than just putting a bunch of different players together. Wanted to make sure that they molded together well. Okay, we've talked about the top 4, Ken. What about a dark horse? Is there a team that maybe we're not paying attention to, but could shake things up a bit?
I'm going to give you 2, Alanna, and I'm not going to mention Team Mexico because they are right outside the top 4, in my opinion. But the 2 I'll give you are Italy and Canada. Italy has a number of major leaguers. They're in USA's group, by the way, in Houston. Jack Caglianone, Michael Lorenzen, Jacob Marcy, Aaron Nola, Vinny Pasquantino, and Kyle Teal. Those are some of the major leaguers that they have on their roster. They're going to be a formidable challenge for anyone that they play. And then there's Canada. Same kind of thing. A number of major leaguers on their roster as well. Jameson Taillon, the big pitcher. Freddie Freeman not playing this time around, but they still have the Naylor brothers. They still have Tyler O'Neill, Owen Casey, Denzel Clark. So they should be an interesting team to watch, a fun team to watch. And sure, I can see either one of these teams maybe pulling off an upset or two, maybe even getting out of pool play.
Adam Ottavino, also with Team Italy, recently retired, of course, for him. Team Italy, though, the coaches, this picture, Ken, made me laugh. Of course, you don't necessarily have to have the same lineage to the country as a coach as you do as a player, but you can see there, manager Francisco Cervelli, the hitting coach Jorge Posada, of course, the great Yankee pitching coach Dave Righetti, bullpen coach Sal Fasano, that's definitely Italian, and hitting coach Frank Menicino. So good times. This is a fun tournament, but I love to see this. And perhaps you're right. Perhaps the Italians are the dark horse team, Ken, of the WBC. All right, one more question for you. Someone that isn't necessarily a household name yet, but could be by the end of this tournament.
Well, it's hard to define that, I guess, in some respects, because someone who might not be a household name in our country might be a household name in their country. So I guess we look at a guy like Hiromi Ito, who I mentioned earlier. He's the best pitcher in Japan right now, who is not in Major League Baseball. But I'll give you a dark horse from Team USA. Now, it's a name we all know, but he's going to play, and he's going to play more than Alex Bregman did in 2017, Bobby Witt Jr. in 2023. Those were the young guys on those teams. The young guy on this team is Roman Anthony, and he already is making a strong impression. He's going to be a starting outfielder for Team USA at just 21 years old. So I don't know that I can say Roman Anthony is a dark horse. He's got a big contract. He's a big prospect, but he is the youngest member of Team USA, and I do expect him to make an impact.
Yeah, Roman Anthony, the Roman Empire has certainly been all the talk for the Boston Red Sox. They think very highly of this young man, as they should. Okay, when you're looking about the pool play, Ken, in terms of games that you're most excited to see, of course, Team USA takes the field tomorrow for the first time against Brazil. You had mentioned you're on the call on Fox. Is there a pool play game that you're most excited to see in this upcoming tournament?
USA Mexico. And
Mm.
that was a game the last time that was incredibly dramatic. It was in Phoenix the last time. It'll be in Houston this time. And of course, you have both those states, Texas and Arizona, are quite close to Mexico on the Mexican border. So you'll have a number of fans from Mexico in Dyken Park in Houston. That's one element of this. And the other element is Mexico is a really good team. And they have something this time that if they had the last time, they might have won the whole thing, and that's a closer. Andres Munoz from the Seattle Mariners is in this tournament. Now, they don't have Julio Urias, who they had the last
Hmm.
time, who was impactful for them. But at the same time, Mexico with Randy Arozarena and some of the other players that they will boast in this tournament, they're going to be a fun team to watch. And that game is going to be probably the biggest of the USA's group going forward here in pool play.
Yeah, Benji Gill, the team manager for Team Mexico, going up against Mark DeRosa of Team USA. All WBC, all right here, of course, from our friends at Fox One. But don't forget, there's a lot more than just the WBC. From the WBC through the World Series to the World Cup to NASCAR and IndyCar with Fox One, you get it all live. Start your 7-day free trial today. Offers are subject to change. Download Fox One today and stream the World Baseball Classic live March 4th through the 17th. Go to fox1.com for complete terms and conditions. Fox One streaming now, time now for Grill and Ken. We're going to go ahead and keep the WBC theme going here on Fair Territory with Ken Rosenthal on this Thursday. So I'll ask you, because you are, as we mentioned, on the call, how is covering the WBC different from a playoff series or a playoff game?
It's not that much different, Alana, honestly, because the intensity is really high. I don't know that the attention and the media contingent for one of these games is what it is for a LCS game or a World Series game. But I will tell you this story, and you'll appreciate this, Alana, as a former dugout reporter yourself. So for many years, really until 2023, I wore in my ear one IFB, in just one ear. After the WBC in 2023 in Miami, it was so loud I needed to do something different. And I was talking to our audio people, and they said you can get what the rock stars wear, double monitors in both ears. And they also have, as part of that kit, noise suppressant. So I
Mm.
turned to that, and it was all because of the semifinals and finals in the WBC. So it was loud. And from that perspective, it is like a playoff game. Maybe in some respects in Miami, if you have say the Dominican Republic playing Venezuela or the Dominican Republic playing the US, it can be even louder. The crowd is divided and it's a lot of fun. It's just incredible atmosphere and an absolute blast. Different than a playoff game, but unique and special in its own way.
Ken, let's expand on that for a moment. The atmosphere. I mean, you think about games in the United States, and of course, there are fans and they're boisterous and they're having a great time, but I don't think of our fans as having a bunch of props. You go to these WBC games or, winter ball in Venezuela or whatever, and there's props and there's music and there's chants and there's traditions. And speak to the atmosphere creating to all of that noise that you were just talking about and how much people really get into this.
Well, the one thing that defines this tournament is passion. Passion from the players, and yes, passion from the fans. And that is at, I would say, a higher level, a more intense level than what you would see normally in, I don't know, even a playoff game. And certainly, don't get me wrong, playoff games fans are really intense, but national pride is at stake here. And maybe not for the US so much as for the Latin American countries and for Japan, Korea, some of the Asian countries. That passion, that feeling of needing to win this tournament, badly wanting to win this tournament, that takes the fan level to another area. And that's what makes it so cool. So We've seen it grow in the US and we've seen people become more interested, fans become more interested, but it's that passion from the other countries that kind of is what we had to catch up to, both as fans, that level of it, and also from the players' perspective. They didn't necessarily see it the same way as they do now. Paul Goldschmidt has talked about this. He is the only US player to appear for Team USA in 3 WBCs. And he said, going back to 2017, his first one, that a lot of the best players didn't play. And the team that took the field kind of had a chip on its shoulder because, hey, they knew that people were saying this is not the best US team. That's not a problem anymore.
One more question about the WBC, and then we'll get into some other baseball related stuff. Questions from our chat. Why are there not challenges in the WBC? Obviously, there are challenges now in Major League Baseball. The ABS system is coming into play this season in 2026. Why not in the World Baseball Classic?
Well, because ABS has not been used yet in Major League Baseball, and I don't know that all of the stadiums around the world are equipped with ABS. In fact, I'm pretty sure they're not. That is the reason. Once this takes hold in Major League Baseball, perhaps in the next WBC, we will see ABS, and I can anticipate that happening, but that's why this time around it's not going to be in effect.
All right, makes more sense. All right, some questions now coming in from the chat. We always appreciate you guys participating. Wicked Better 54. Ken, you reported in your latest article that the Astros have interest in Lars Nootbaar and Alex Burleson. Which one is more likely to be traded to Houston and would be the better fit?
All right, Wicked Better. I didn't report it exactly like that. I said St. Louis was a potential fit for the Astros. I don't know that they have serious interest in Nootbaar. I would imagine they do in Burleson. He's a really good young player. But it seems to me that a straight up trade between those two is kind of impossible. The player that the Astros would like to move is Isaac Paredes. Isaac Paredes is not a player the Cardinals need. Now, if the Cardinals could spin Paredes somewhere else, for instance, Boston, then you have something. And this actual combination, Houston, St. Louis, Boston, discussed the parameters of a Brendan Donovan deal. So they've been down this road before. I don't know that it's going to happen, but who knows? Maybe it could. And the difference here is if indeed this was to come to pass, I would expect that what Houston would be getting would be a left-handed hitting outfielder from Boston, not from St. Louis. So I don't know how feasible it is, but when you're talking about the Astros, they need, as I wrote, to trade Paredes for a left-handed hitting outfielder, and obviously the Cardinals have those. Perhaps they can involve another third team that would take Paredes.
Ken C. Carrera 951 wants to know this. Would it have been crazy to invite Connor Griffin to the WBC?
Yes,
You're high
that
on
would have been that would have been a leap too far. And the question is valid because, as I mentioned, in 2017 they took Bregman. In 2023 they took Bobby Witt Jr., but those guys were established in the majors by then. This year, thanks to the injury to Corbin Carroll, Roman Anthony is like the designated young guy, the Christian Laettner 1992 Dream Team version of what we're going to see here. Griffin is not yet a major leaguer. He's 19 years old. He needs to get involved in the majors before I would expect the WBC would be a place for him.
Ken, we have a new member to our Foul Territory family, and it's a family that you know very well. Why don't you tell us who the latest addition to FT is?
Well, yes, I'm very happy to announce, Alanna, that the Twin Towers from the Baltimore Sun are back under the same banner. Foul Territory Network proudly welcomes Tim Kurkjian and his son Jeff's show, Is This a Great Game or What? Now, Tim and I, when we were at the Baltimore Sun, were actually at different parts of the Baltimore Sun. We were competing. He was at the Morning Sun and I was at the Evening Sun. You might ask, why are we called the Twin Towers? Because the late manager of the Baltimore Orioles, Frank Robinson, dubbed us as such. This was a time when Hakeem Olajuwon and Ralph Sampson were the actual Twin Towers. We obviously, Tim and I, are not Twin Towers. That is why Frank gave us that nickname. And in short, he would just call us sometimes the Towers. What did the Towers got for me today?
That's great. I love that. Obviously, you neither of you was blessed with hype, but you were blessed with unbelievable intellect and unbelievable writing skills. What's the one thing we should know about Tim Kurkjian?
The one thing people should know about Tim Kurkjian is that when he was on the beat for the Dallas Morning News and then the Baltimore Sun, that nice guy you see on television, and that is Tim's personality. He's an extremely nice guy, warm, big heart. But that guy, that wasn't the guy competing against me every day and kicking my butt every single day. I was hired at 24 years old basically to compete with him, and that was Harlem Globetrotters, Washington Generals. I mean, I got smoked literally every day. I beat Tim once. I always tell this story. In 2 years, I got him once. It was not even that big a story. And the next day, he came back, Alana, with like four different things that I didn't have. And it was almost as if he was sending a message to me, don't ever do that again. It was rather dispiriting to say the least.
He is a scrappy little guy, that Tim Kurkjian. Well, congratulations to Tim and to Jeff Kurkjian. We're very happy that you are a part of the Foul Territory family. Don't forget, guys, you can subscribe on YouTube and rate us 5 stars wherever you listen. We'll be back with Dude and Dork of the Week right after this.
Fair Territory with Ken Rosenthal is proudly part of the Foul Territory Network.
Listen to authentic conversations and unique insights across a variety of shows hosted by esteemed writers and all-stars alike. The people who know our game best.
I'm happy to be on. You guys have been doing such a great job with this show.
We debate baseball's hottest news while also chatting with over 700 current Major League players in laid-back, long-form conversations unique to FT.
One of my heels on the baseline, and then it's just trust the guy's going to bunt it and crash as hard as I can.
Catch us live from baseball's biggest events, winter meetings, all-star games, and award shows with access the other guys wish they could get.
That was my whole key to hitting, was I mastered BP.
Subscribe on YouTube and rate 5 stars wherever you listen. Support your favorites and share us with a friend. We are changing the way baseball is consumed, and we want you right there with us. The Foul Territory Network. Baseball, the way it should be covered. BetMGM account holders, today, how about an any sport parlay boost token? You can score a bigger payout if your wager with that token hits. Tokens can be used on parlays and on same-game parlays. Gambling problem or concern? There's help. Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Dude.
We'll start with you, Ken, on your Dude of the Week, and it's another one of your colleagues that you have a great amount of respect for. Who is it?
The new play-by-play man for NBC's Sunday Night Baseball, Jason Benetti, Dude of the Week. Jason worked at Fox for some time. Of course, he is the Tigers broadcaster on a daily basis. I had the privilege of doing some games with him, and believe me, it was a privilege. Congratulations to Jason. He is totally deserving of this. And if you haven't heard him, I highly suggest you listen to him. He is hilarious, he is knowledgeable, and he is, as they say in Boston, Alana, wicked smart.
Wicked smart. Congratulations to Jason Benetti. I have a little bit of the same kind of line of thinking, but my Dude of the Week is the Detroit Tigers, Ken. The way that they handled the Benetti announcement, kind of the promotion, of course, to getting to NBC Sports, still praising him, still loving the way that he's going about his business. Also, though, congratulating him for being able to take on the new role, a national role with NBC, and obviously saying, listen, he's still going to be a part of our broadcast. He's just going to step away. Good for them. Good for the Tigers for letting him do it, and for praising him as well. All right, time now for our Dork of the Week. All right, so our Dork of the Week. Go ahead, Ken. You have the honors.
2 words, and need I say more? Jurickson Profar. Now, his case has not been totally decided yet, but he has been suspended for 162 games for a second violation of baseball's joint drug policy with the union. That decision is under appeal. It likely won't be decided for several weeks, but his suspension will begin Friday. I had one time a source who would say to me, you got to be really dumb to fail a drug test. Well, that's 2 for Jurickson. So we'll see how this resolves, but Dork of the Week until proven otherwise.
Yeah, my dork of the week, the Atlanta Braves, not because of what Jerks and Profar did, but just because they basically copied and pasted most of their Jerks and Profar statement. And it's unfortunate, Ken, that they had to do it to begin with. I mean, they just took out that they were, surprised, because in 2025, they were surprised and extremely disappointed to learn that Jerks and Profar tested positive for a performance enhancing substance. But take a look at the 2026 one, Ken. They basically just took out the word surprised and said we're incredibly disappointed. I mean, it's just basically a copy and paste situation. But honestly, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, or fool me once, shame on me. Fool me, whatever the heck the thing is. But the point is, Jerks and Profar, what are you doing? All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for watching and listening. We appreciate it very much. Congratulations again to Jason Benetti. Very proud of you. Very happy for you. Don't forget, Fair with Ken is back on Monday. Enjoy the World Baseball Classic. We'll talk to you then.